Hey guys and gals, and welcome back to my playthrough of Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. Now, well,
Any challenge for me?
did I loot everything? Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. And last we left off, I was on my ship. What the hell? Okay, I was on my ship, and I found out that the well, I was soft locked out of progressing out of chapter 1. So I went back to the point of the electrodynamic cenobium, the place where the generator is, and off screen I refought my way back to the to here. I basically redid the triumph. Okay, so let me do this in order. Where's my notes? Okay, so for the to progress, to unstuck myself, I before the triumph, I actually have to go and trigger the GTFO quest, the one where Abelard was saying, it's not a big deal, people are what you call them, protesting, and it was gonna be a riot. So what I did is I went back to my ship before you go to the triumph. You go back to your ship, and from there you go up to your private quarters. Then in your private quarters, the dialogue for the quest will appear. You go through it, yada yada yada. You will pick your team, and then you go and do the Depot 4 quest. From there, I managed to coerce the protesters to help me find the Chaos Amulet dude. So that's that. And after that, I went to find Thunderfang, the void ship in the middle at the outer edge of Rykot system. I went there and I traded 3 grenades and a camouflage robe. And let's see. Oh yeah, I also went to Rykot Majoris, the planet of the Drukhari ship, and I basically redid the whole thing, and I got wounded crew. I don't know what that does. And before I went into the triumph, I traded with the tech priest, the one near the governor, and for a bunch of stuff, I managed to get a modified las gun, a analysis helmet, and 2 grenades. And after that, I went into the triumph. Blah 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 blah. I set my butt in the tank, and then I did one thing differently. Is that I ordered, at the point where before the ghost of Aurora jumps up and declare the final dawn, I tell everybody to scamper because I want to see what's up. So far there's no difference, I believe. Yeah, there's basically no difference. Anyway, final dawn happened. I refought my way from the triumph point through here. I defeated the word bearer. Barely. I barely defeated him because I don't know what I did wrong, but I barely defeated him. And as you can tell, Cassius with me instead of Idara. So hopefully,
None shall stand in my way.
I'm now currently unstuck and I can progress through the game. Wish me luck. Okay, I think I'm good. Thank be to the Emperor, you are alive, your ladyship. We are most gratified by your return, and the crew is full of zeal and to carry out any orders you may have. What's the current situation on board? The navigator's sanctum is no longer empty, but the warp engine is still refusing to obey the engine seer. Without it, we cannot perform a warp jump. Pascal voices buzzed anxiously from his box. It may be angry, or perhaps it is lamenting the injuries it has suffered. I will immediately initiate preparations for a prayer service. If the Omnissiah grants me comprehension, I will appease the machine spirit of this vessel. Why do you not send a shuttle? I do apologize, your ladyship, but we were unable to receive your request for evacuation. The Voxling was overrun with vile interference, scream, blasphemous hymns, and other equally sinister noises. Any who listened to the interference for a protracted period lost their sanity. Several dozen operators went mad monitoring the Voxcasters in the hope of hearing your voice. Each one of them waited in vain. Okay. What's gonna happen to the planet now? Our Augur operators are reporting numerous uprisings and other manifestations of the arch-enemy powers at various locations on the planet. Based on the fragments of communications picked up by our Vox operators, there are practically no resistance being offered by the governor's forces. Millions of people are converted to the blasphemous Final Dawn cult in mass and assembling in prayer circles. No resistance at all? Holy hell, this is worse than I thought. I fear that Rykut Minoris is lost. Yeah, I noticed that in previous recordings I keep calling him Rykut. I don't know why. It just rolled off my tongue. So Rykut Minoris is lost. The situation is deteriorating by the minute. We must leave the system as soon as possible. However, there are still people on the planet who have not succumbed to heresy and who are worthy to rescue. Besides the small number of our own shuttles, we also have the shuttles salvaged from the starport. The dark eyes of the Sister of Battle flashes. We must save as many as we can. This has all happened for a reason. Saint Argenta, whose name I carry with reverence and trepidation, is famed for saving people of a dying world through the power of prayer. The God Emperor himself sent a star from the heavens that lifted the saint and her followers up to the sky, away from corruption and death. We must do as she did, direct all our efforts to saving those people who at this moment look to the heavens in hope of salvation. The lives of the peasant are of little value. Our prime objective is to save the Holy Relic, the miraculous fusion reactor, and the Electro Priest who guarded and tended to it. Abelard furrows his brows. Furrow his brows. What browns? Every moment we spend in proximity to a dying world, we are putting ourselves at risk. Your life, Lord Captain, is far more valuable than all of Rykut Minoris. The Von Valencius dynasty cannot be allowed to perish, and so, lamentable though it is, we must rule out the idea of any evacuation. Render's eyes, like two deep, dark pools, are resolutely fixed on you. The world is doomed, and its inhabitants along with it. The disappearance of the star was the final nudge towards death. The finale of the cult of the Final Dawn's plans. I once witnessed a similar event, a world that has surrendered to the servants of the arch-enemy and permitted corruption to enter too deep. At this moment, millions of people are bowing down before those who promised them salvation, and they are willingly giving over their souls to chaos, a sacrifice great enough to bring forth a demon world. Yeesh. Our only hope of stopping this process is to retreat to the safe distance from the planet and conduct targeted bombing of the Electro Priest Monastery. If we blow up the reactor, a thermonuclear reaction will follow. The world's oxygen will evaporate, killing off the entire biosphere. In doing so, we will save millions of souls from the fate far worse than death. We will save Rykut Manor from becoming outposts for the arch-enemy. Let's ask this. Thanks to you, we have salvaged many shuttles from the starport we knew how you could use. Let's save the fusion reactor. Yeah, the people's basically screwed, but fusion reactor. Any delay caused by loading and transporting to the ship will cost us precious time. Do not deceive yourself, Dogo. If you indulge your vanity, you will doom billions to eternal torment at the hands of the archenemy. Okay, so first of all, chaos is really bad, and demon world not exactly what you want, but at the same time, I could get people, and then I can get the fusion reactor, maybe, just maybe. Like the right course will be to just bomb the whole thing to heaven, and well, to you know, bomb it to all hell, and then just, you know, pray to the God Emperor to salvage the souls. But then again, I am a rogue trader. But I am a Ministorum priest. What do I do? Okay, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. You know what? I want the reactor. You detect a flicker of something beneath Hendrik's sanguine mask. Whatever it may be, it does not seep into the interrogator's dispassionate voice. In that case, I consider it necessary to point out that the mark of the archenemy could infiltrate the ship along with any electro monks that escort the reactor. Keep that in mind for the future. I mean, they are electro priests, so would heresy really taint them? Well, then again, the tech priest that were getting tortured did get corrupted, so consider it done. It's likely our shuttles will have the capacity to evacuate some people as well. That's it. There's no one else on this planet to save. You should have listened to me, Rogue Trader. We will all have to pay for this mistake. The prayer of the tech priest surrounding the cogitator almost drowned out the sounds of the bustling bridge behind you. Pascal, poring intently over the data slate in his hands, extends a mechanized right towards you. Please take your place at the cogitator, Captain. First, let's explain what we're doing. I studied the data and discovered a machine node that was damaged as a result of the heretic's sabotage. The functioning of the warp sextant was tampered with the ship's spirit. Agreed by this violation of the Operation Ritual is now rejecting its calculations. I sought a way to rectify this error and have concluded that your participation is necessary to do so. Okay. The cogitator system of this temple of the Omnissiah are subordinate to the shell whose repository serves the machines we see before us, a machine created for your predecessor and one that uses the biological signatures of a dynastic blood in its computations. The spirit should recognize the ship's mistress and submit to her will. Should. Pascal speaks the final word with a slight tremor in his synthesized voice. That should sound less than reassuring. Lord Captain, comes the crackle from the Pascal's box. Part beleaguered sigh, part interference. This void ship is not my temple. The acolytes on this ship have adapted their own customs for conversing with the machine spirits. They do not know me, and they express themselves in a little-known dialect of Technolingua. Yeah, basically this is binary code. I will trust in the Omniscience that my analysis of the data was correct. It means we have a chance of appeasing the ship's spirits. You know what? Fine. A huge machine in front of you lists with dozens of white screens and hundreds of luminaries. I believe that's the screens. The blinking lights and the endless rush of symbols and digits on the green background make your eyes water, and a vague sense of alarm simmers in the depths of your mind. The typical reaction of a layperson when confronted with the magnitude of the Omniscience creations. Among the numerous controls you see, a mouth of the cyber gargoyle is the same as at the gate of the Warren Chamber. Pascal's voice becomes imbued with imperious voice. Servants of the machine god, heed my command. Acolytes, prepare the incense instrumentation of the liturgy of machine spirit propitiation. senior technomat, recite the prayer of generate a current data report. Operations will be marked with the campanological protocol Omnissiah's Rejoice. I must inform you that for the purpose of safety, complete reassembly of the warp sextant and updating of its data smith blessings are required. If this is not done, then at launch the volume of aggregate calculations errors would result in the destruction of the data crypts. The data processing yeah, basically I believe this is like a, what do you call it? A hard drive, like a server room. So yeah, but as we do not have 100 hours at our disposals, we must omit this procedure. Pascal looks down at the data slate in his hands, a minor deviation from the operation ritual for the sake of appeasing the spirit. Listen, can't you do this without me? I'm no servant of the Omnissiah after all. This statement is true. In other temples of the Omnissiah, only his servants would be able to propitiate the machine spirit. However, the architect of this vessel infrastructure made unsanctioned changes to the standard structure of the cogitator network. His pleasure creeps into Pascal's voice to equip the bridge with a machine that would permit its use by laypeople with a specific biological signature, member of House von Valencius. I mean, it would be a smart idea because, you know, if people got on the ship and try to capture it, then if the captain is killed, they have no way to pilot that ship. So, you know, they may be onto something here. Besides, this ship is going to, like, frontiers and stuff. You never know what's in the frontiers. Deviating from the operational ritual? That sounds dubious, especially coming from you. Dogma bids that the appropriate rituals of cleansing and reassembly be carried out on the warp sextant. It is a long and labor-intensive process. Pascal hesitates before continuing. Our best chance is to bypass the sacred prohibition on directly interfacing with the conduits of the motive force, a faster and less orthodox rule. So we're just jump-starting the whole damn thing? What must I do? Place your hand inside the sword of the Cogitator Guardian, the Cyber Gargoyle, which has been assigned to guard the forbidden data crypts. The dynastic blood extracted from your veins will serve as a key to the data core where the machine spirit dwells. To it, we will offer our prayer so that we may bypass the protective protocol for defective connections and launch the warp sextant. So every time I have to, like, every time this ship has to do a warp jump, I have to sacrifice a bit of my own blood. I mean, on one hand smart, on the other hand, kinda stupid. Pascal's voice grows quieter. The law of the Omnissiah knows no exceptions, and so in this ritual I will remain at your side to placate the wrathful machine spirit in whose abode you will be intruding. Follow my liturgies, Lord Captain, and may we receive his blessing. You know, enough dilly-dally. The metal jaw clamps down on your hand, breaking your delicate corporeal sheath and releasing warm red liquid into the gullets. At the same moment, the image on the mid screen before you changes. Connecting 1, connecting 2, connecting 3. Success edited. Access initiated. ID 8627. Num OS. Operate REST AKT. What does that all mean? As the sound of your voice, a cogitator servant whose bronze-bound skeleton is built into cogitator housing jerks into motion, and with a screech its skull rotates towards you and then stops in this position. Envelope code of voice receptor. Pascal emits a sequence of binary signals and then it's silent for several seconds. I hypothesize that the defect is located in the analyzer block. I register a reaction to the signal, but no processed response. A temporary override is permissible. The Makos initially intently studies the vid screens. The shell was created on a forge roll unknown to me, initiating standard invocation of the machine spirit. Pascal leans over to the adjacent instrument panel and set his hands on the controls. At the same time, a quiet stream of machine code begins pouring forth from his box. What should I do now? Lord Captain, I now ask you to address the machine spirit. Speak to the following command. By my authority, I revoke the inviolability protocol of the warp engine. The voice receptor will receive the vocal entry. Without your sanction, the machine spirit will not accept the data from the warp station. From the warp sextant. Okay, this is not a time to be curious. Let's do this. One of the cogitator's vid screens turn red. Pascal sees this and raises his hand, signaling to the rest of the tech priest, then withdraws a connector from his sleeve and connects it to the machine. Servants of the Omnissiah, make now the offering of cleansed data crypts to the machine spirit so that it may be filled with their true and calibrated data. May the Omnissiah have mercy on our souls. In meek solemnity, the acolytes offer up the cleansed data crypts to the warp engine one after another, repeating prayer of exaltation. After anointing the contacts with sacred unguents, Pascal inserts them in the cogitator slots. Your head begins to spin from the holy censer's foul-smelling clouds of smoke, and from the loss of the blood that the cyber gargoyle continues to drink from you, and the world swim before your eyes. Let this mechanism awaken in renewed purity. Pascal enters a sequence of command and raises his head, watching the vid screen. Suddenly he stops dead. No! His fingers fly over to the command rooms, entering command after command, his mechanandrites clicking their pincers, pull at one lever after another. The vid screens filled with strings of symbols, completely incomprehensible to you, but clearly conveying something to the Makos. Is everything alright, Makos? After a few seconds, one of the data crypts mounted on the cogitator begins to emit sparks. Oh bad. Oh crap. A moment later, another data crypt does the same. The next bursts into flame and gives off foul-smelling smoke. Around you, the Omnissiah servants break off from their prayer, and someone bursts into frantic pleading. Pascal mournfully grates out. The mass of errors in the warp sextant's calculations is destroying the data repositories. The offering did not appease the ship's spirit. The warp engine cannot be filled with the motive force. We are trapped. A moment later, the Makos continues uncertainly, perhaps an alternative Ryzen protocol, or an emergency launch of the auxiliary coils. The tech priest bends over the cogitator, but something in his pose and movements reveals his desperation. While the other vid screens are filled with more and more strings of symbols, the monitor in front of you blinks and its static image changes. Pascal is too engrossed in his ritual to notice. Read the information on the vid screens. Input unpack comp. O stab true. O stab false. Stat checking initiate. Perturb.reg, disturb reg, num os operate, address query. Huh. Okay, I don't know if the developers actually make this intentionally. I have a feeling that it's something about the query. Input has num has stab true, so function os stab true, os stab false. stack tracking unit. Perturb and disturb reg num os operate res query. I know a bit of coding, and frankly, this looks like something is wrong with the query. Maybe some of the data is, corrupted or something. What's query? Query, what query? Cogitative surface creak quietly in its joints, the sound that is drowned out by the binary hymns and the tapping of command runes. Input prompt ping require respite, operate has rest injury, operate rescue, operate has query. Let's do this. Pascal voice shakes with tension. That was a non-executable request, Lord Captain. Even if the voice receptor could interpret such a... Pascal's next vocalization goes unsynthesized as he sees the vivid screens begin to stabilize one after another. Ooh. The strings frenetically galloping across the screen. The green backgrounds are replaced with stable images of regularly updating status reports. Only one monitor remains inexplicably red. The tech priest Vox cackled in shock, but his report is as clipped and clinical as ever. Registering warp sextant activated, registering data stream stabilizing, registering 0 data errors found, reporting the warp engine is ready for translation. After a pause, Pascal adds, I am also reporting evidence indicating a Category 3 miracle fulfilling the criterion. Thou shalt witness the mechanism that toils in glorification of its function and in defiance of deactivation. What's that mean? Master Hamson Radar. Lord Captain, Raver here. The crew are almost finished carrying out the orders given earlier, and I've just received confirmation from the engineering halls. I don't know what you did, but the warp engine's up and run. You're and go. We're ready to begin the translation to the warp, your leadership. What just happened? Pascal pauses. I hypothesize that the ship spirit heard our prayers and intervened. It summoned the power of the Omnissiah to do something beyond my comprehension. I know little of the Omnissiah's sacred machines, but what I saw on the screen looked strange. The non-standard output of information lost in the data core, the servitors used as data conduits are not always fully lobotomized. Fragments of their thoughts can appear even in pure code. Pascal falls silent and immersed in thought. So you save my ship yourself, not prayed for a miracle. You promised unsatisfied. Let's not say that. Will not miracles otherwise. Let's do this. I hope he will grant me revelation that will allow me to comprehend the nature of this miracle. Pascal voice boxes with wonder and the undercurrent of excitation. Yeah, Raver, just get us out of here. Wait for you to ascend to the captain's throne, Lord Captain. May the Emperor protect us. Oh boy. I'm beginning to regret my decisions. Oh, shuttle's down. Praise the Omnissiah!
The House von Valancius flagship left the doomed star system. As the void ship made its way deeper into the Coronis expanse, the rogue trader's subjects bid farewell to the late head of the dynasty, Theodora von Valancius. Having paid their last respects and mourned the past, the people mustered their strength and turned their eyes toward the future.
Okay. We're in the good stuff now, boys. We are in the good stuff now. Lord Captain, allow me to report our journey through the warp is coming to an end. Lady Navigator Orselio informs me that we have reached the point where we can translate real space in the Furibundus system. The Lady Navigator and her pilots are awaiting your permission to begin the process. The Furibundus system is home to Footfall, the only Imperium outpost with a functioning wharf in the Coronis expanse. The tech priests are begging you to have mercy on the machines worn down by the warp and allow the servants of the Omnissiah to heal the void ship wounds in the dock. The prayer and rituals will take some time, which our astropathic choir will use to establish a connection with the prime worlds of your protectorate, Dargonis, Janus, and Kiava Gamma. Master Zachary Weiss has recovered an invitation previously adrift in the Immaterium. The Liege of Footfall has humbly requested an audience with the rogue trader of the Von Valancius dynasty. According to Master Zachary, the message was tinted with shades of pleading. I quote, "Apparently, the Liege is anxious to meet as soon as possible. Footfall, the place where filth and sanctity go hand in hand. Reverend Hieronymus Doloroso will most likely expect a visit from me. I imagine he will be interested in talking to you as well, Dogo. I will be leaving your void ship when we arrive at Footfall, Dogo. Once this is done, consider the Lord Inquisitor's task complete. But before I leave you, Dogo, please use a small device wrapped in velvet. I was supposed to deliver this to Lady Theodora, but considering the circumstances, I'm giving it to you. This is a Elucidator, a sacred machine that can translate the languages of distant and lost worlds to Imperial Gothic. Ooh. It is even capable of handling Xeno languages, up to a point. There may be flaws in translation, but the overall meaning should be clear. Hell yes! Wait, is this some kind of a serval skull? Maybe not. I hereby inform the rogue trader that, over the course of a comprehensive rite of system inspection, this unit discovered data within the captain's cogitator that is concealed from prying eyes by means of a personal cipher and the sacrament of algorithmic authorization. Unit Dogo von Valancius has been added to the access list and assigned the designated Keeper 2. The data can be accessed from the Captain Cogitator under the condition that the unit possesses the decryption key. You detect a hint of something resembling curiosity in Pascal's mechanical voice. Are you leaving us? The arrangement between the Lord Inquisitor and your predecessor was that I be transported to Footfall and no farther. I dare not take advantage of your generosity and patience any more than I already have, Dogo. You're a skilled fighter. I could use such a man. Would you like to extend your stay with my retinue? Thank you for the offer, but I must decline. I'm afraid my duty before the Golden Throne comes before anything else. Yeah. Argenta... who's this reverend? He is the head of the Drusian mission on football and one of the most prominent clergymen in the sector. Paying him a visit is a good thing for any loyal servant of the Emperor to do. I assisted his mission before I joined Lady Theodora on her voyage. I need his blessing to accompany the new rogue trader of the von Valencius dynasty. If you wish to have me aboard your voyage ship, I request that we meet with Reverend... Yeah. I don't know how the hell I'm gonna say this name. Hieronymus? I'm gonna go with Hieronymus. Tell me about the system we're arriving. Furibundus is valuable due to its close proximity to the Maw, the gateway to the Imperium. The system is mostly known for footfall, the main base for merchants, privateers, and rogue traders traversing the Corona's expanse. Additionally, the star itself is orbited by a Adeptus Mechanica station, which is off limits to outsiders. Alter Tandem Calixtus X-17. I had the honors of tending this shrine for a few thousand cycles. I suggest you abstain from visiting it, as most tech comrades at the stations are engaged in meditative calculations that should not be interrupted. Okay. How do I know? Footfall, I already know about it. What's next? As soon as we solve the issues plaguing the ship and establishing contact with the key worlds of your protectorate, the time will come for your Magna Accessio, the official ceremony of donning the mantle of the rogue trader. It is mostly a formality at this point. You already possess all the privileges and granted by the warrant, and yet it is a major milestone in your personal history. The moment your name graces the list of the heads of the von Valencius dynasty, we are all looking forward to that day, Lord Captain. Okay. Know anything about the Liege of Footfall? Blood damn. Tokara is a very particular young man, considering your upcoming conversation in a baptism of fire in Footfall's political arena. Such things are not spoken out loud, but Liege Tokara is the appointee of the Casablanca mission. The Footfall chapter is one of the most successful crime so he's one of the crime dudes. The largest robber baron crime syndicate in the Calixtus sector. They specialize in the coal trade, the buying and selling of all kinds of Xenos rubbish. I have a feeling I'm either gonna meet the Space Wolf or the Ranger here. Footfall was previously run by a liege who did business with several criminal factions at once, but he suffered an accident. The reins of power were picked up by Vladam Tokara, who appointed benefits not only to the Casablanca but also their most powerful ally in the Corona's expanse, rogue trader Caligos Winterscale. Okay. Vladam is a slippery yet very cautious fellow. He does not usually beat around the bush and does not play mind games. Perhaps more importantly, he is no fool. Fools does not rise this high in the Casablancan hierarchy. Keep all this in mind. You are a rogue trader. You stand above him in status and wield considerable power. Having said that, history has seen cases where the Casablancan barons crossed the sword with the rogue trader and emerged victorious. Do not forget that and remain vigilant. The Casablanca, vile tech thieves. Why does he want to see me so badly? Not you personally. He wished to meet with the rogue trader of the von Valencius dynasty. Tokata does not know about Lady Theodora's death and is simply seeking an audience with the powers that be. My gut is telling me that something must have been very wrong on the Footfall if our astropath managed to reach such strong emotion in such an identical message. We have no information, Lord Captain. The broadcast from the Footfall astropath choir was the only missive Master Zachary has received lately. Yeah, let's just get into real space. Immediately begin issuing instructions. The massive ship appears to change with her every word. The bridge is set in motion as 100 hands of people started to prepare for the shift to real space and measured chantings fill the corridors to safeguard the vessels and his crew. One more thing, Lord Captain. No one at the station knows about Lady Theodora's demise and you inherit the title. Leash Dokara will be informed. It is required so we can use the dock. And besides, he is expecting a personal audience with the rogue trader. He will not meet with an unknown person of unclear standing. However, there is still the matter of announcing your arrival. You can either arrive on the station with the proper pomp and ceremony, or choose to visit incognito. Tell me how these choices benefit me. According to Footfall's unwritten laws, rogue trader enjoy special privileges that exceed even the power of the Leech. However, they may choose not to exercise those privileges in certain situations. Arriving incognito will give you more room for maneuver, while an official visit will allow you to directly intervene in local affairs. To explain, if you do not mind, according to the unwritten rule, every rogue trader arriving at the station has the right to veto any Leech decisions. But there is a catch. The Coronic Expanse is home to several influential rogue trader dynasties. The Footfall is where their interests intersect. Of course, that does not prevent certain persons, namely Caligo's Winterscale, from subtly pulling the strings in Footfall. If you, as a new rogue trader, start your career with an official landing and a parade in your honor, the other dynasty will see this gesture as the newcomer challenging their sphere of influence. I do not see that as a bad thing necessarily. Old Man Winterscale may take slight offense. Corda will be put on her guard, but you have just risen to prominence, and most people in the Cronus Expanse will have not even heard about Lady Theodora's departure yet. It must be made clear that the banner of Von Valensis soars high as ever. If I may, I would recommend arriving incognito. You will have plenty of opportunities to savor the sweetness and the burdens of power, but right now is the last time you can take refuge in obscurity. This way your arrival will not draw much attention, and the people will treat you as a person and not the almighty sovereign anointed by the Emperor. It could turn some situations to your advantage. I'm gonna go incognito because this is how I usually play. I like to go around sneaking. I like to sneak around. I will be done, Lord Captain. With your gracious permission, I will return to my duties. Okay. What am I seeing here? Anything else to say? Nope. Why are you having your... Taco, Kaze offers you a reserved smile and wave at your greeting. Words cannot describe how boring the bridge is without our stimulating conversations. Okay. Nothing. Oh, wait. Oh yeah, and off screen I basically have them, I basically read out every single one of their, their dialogues. I exhausted them, so yeah. If you see it, gray, that's why. But does that mean that, wait a second. You know what? I'm gonna take away your bolter first. Really? Oh no, please don't tell me I'm gonna lose a bolter. Okay, good. Force sword, you can still keep it. Captain Militant's helmet. You can keep that. I'm taking back the grenades though. I have a feeling I need them. Because if you're gonna be gone... Okay. So you know what? Just... upgrade you. Wow. Okay. What's this? Better recognition. Sure. Oh yeah. one thing I actually noticed when I was leveling Doggo, Cassia, and everybody else is that if I upgrade one thing, other things drop. So for example, if I upgrade tech use, like tech use upgrades, but it kind of drops something else. I believe it's like lore or warp.